You may not know this, but your door works different in the summer than compared to winter. Let's prepare you. Welcome to the Garage Authority Podcast, powered by A1. I'm your host, Jonathan Phillips, and returning, the one and only Tom Melendez. Brother, how's it going?
Oh, man. Living the dream.
Living the dream.
Loving life, man.
Speaking of life, we're getting into the holiday season, at least at the recording of this episode. And
the most stress-free time of year.
The most stress-free time of year, especially being a new dad. And we start to have those hard conversations with clients about seasonal garage door prep. Yeah. And I know that you've been traveling, of course, Phoenix. It's beautiful weather all year round, but I know you've been traveling to market. How is that, traveling to a market that gets negative 20 and then having to come back to 80 degrees and just playing on that spectrum all the time?
So it's funny you say that, because I was slated recently to go back to Minneapolis. I'd already been there, and when I was there, it was Arizona winter. Mm-hmm. So it was I was loving it. But I was about to go back, and then I recently got rerouted to Dallas, where it's more like Phoenix.
Yes.
So very pleasant. And then I'm in my hotel room, and I'm eating breakfast. I'm looking at the news, and I see this cold front just hover right over Minnesota and just drop everything. And I was like, dodged a bullet there. So far, no extremes yet.
I want to know, whenever that cold front, because we don't service every home, but I wish there would be a guild of garage door, of every garage door company in that area. And then whenever that cold snap comes, I want to see the uptick in broken springs and parts. That's what I need to have. I need all garage door companies to get together, actually have a way to track that KPI, have a good CRM. And I want to, because I know it to be true, and that's why we do the garage door seasonal prep. I would just be really interested to see how it affects everybody with some hard numbers.
Yeah. Those guys up there, particularly in a cold place like Minneapolis, have great stories.
Yes.
And we have ours here in Phoenix because we are literally boiling.
All the time.
All the time, except for maybe 1 month 2 months out of the year. Yeah, and those temperatures, man, they play havoc with a lot of things.
Yes.
Not just the garage door, but particularly things in the garage door.
Yes.
You know.
I think we should start with the brain of the operation, the operator.
Yeah.
Now, how does heat, since we're in Phoenix, affect garage door operators?
You know, when I'm training new techs, just getting into the field and certainly talking with customers, most things don't like to be hot.
No.
Your grill is an exception, right? Okay, that likes to be hot. But when you talk about electrical components, you talk about really, no matter what brand you buy, you talk about an operator, it is not meant to be extremely cold or extremely hot. We want it to be tempered so that it lasts and that you don't have, on a physical level, breakdown.
Yeah.
The heat is so rough, but I'll tell you this. Freezing temperatures play havoc with electronics.
Dude.
I mean, and especially you think about when storms roll in. Any place that has bad lightning storms.
Yes.
Right? Those surges are always a problem. They will fry motherboards. But here's something else. It's a little tidbit. I got trained by one of the major electrical companies out here years ago, SRP. And one of the things that they talked about was how they always have to be at the ready to accommodate everybody's electrical needs.
Right.
And that can be difficult for those of you out there who are flipping light switches on and then all of a sudden everything just shuts off and then all of a sudden you need everything on. Right, so those fluctuations cause havoc on the grid, and you'll get several fluctuations and surges without a storm every day. And depending on how good your grid system is, or not so good, that can be even more frequent.
Right.
So along those lines of surges with weather, the grid, freezing, because all that plays a factor, that can really play a lot of bad games with your operator.
Yeah, shut it down completely. See, this is why I bring this guy on. He's going around to all, garage door guy, been a school teacher, so knows how to actually teach people and communicate with people. He's been trained by an electrical company. Like, come on, man. Come on. Now, what about winter cold and freezing parts specifically? Maybe focusing more on the door.
Yeah. So when you think about, well, let me back this up a little bit, because what I run into quite a bit with our clients is we ask a very basic question, and that is, when was the last time you had your door maintenance? You can probably guess what the answer is.
They need maintenance?
Exactly. And it's not their fault. Nobody's ever told them.
No.
I don't remember the class that I was in high school. They're like, hey, make sure you maintain your door every day.
Yeah. Garage
that
doors?
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. So what we've had here are a bunch of metal moving parts that have long since dried out with their lubricant. The bushings in between have long since worn out, but it's still operating, so we don't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we factor in cold, which changes how metal functions on itself. You have heat that expands it, you have cold that contracts it, and nothing to help it move in between. And then you add moisture. And when moisture freezes, have you ever seen a door like just kind of shake a little bit and shave off some little icicles? Like,
yes.
It's a little weird.
It's crazy because I've gone to houses before where in Kansas City, where I'm originally from, and I remember getting a call, and one of those clients is like, broken spring, and I was like, okay, like, are you sure? And he's, yeah, I click the operator runs, but I even tried to move it by hand, and from my research, that means that it's a broken spring. Twas not. It was frozen shut.
Yes.
And this, God bless this man, because it is scary whenever you can't get out of your garage door.
Yeah.
And the amount of damage that this man did prying on the bottom of it, because he's like, if I just get it a little bit started, and not to mention you walk in and the springs aren't broken. Like, I was like, okay. And then the amount of marks that he set in the bottom of the door trying to pry it up so he could get a jack under it and was slowly going to get the door up.
Right.
Was absolutely insane. And what was funny is once we melted all the ice, and because of all the holes and dents that he put at the bottom for the seal, I got a call the next day that all of that ice coming in had made it even worse, so it took us twice as long. And I was like, can we just focus on the seal of this door? Can we please just focus on the seal of this door, please and thank you. Now, what seasonal checks, because my big seasonal check that people need to do is like weather stripping around the door, right? So we don't have those issues. What seasonal checks do you have that every homeowner has the power to do?
You know, if you're in a place like, I would say, San Diego, yes, it's dry, but the weather's pretty temperate, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't go extreme either way. You always, no matter where you're at, you always want to be checking your system for extra wear and tear, signs of drying out, rotting, rusting, all that kind of stuff every 12 months, right? But I will also tell you that if you live in extreme temperatures, if you're up there in the north where you can have negative temperatures, you know, every 6 months, you just want to make sure that things are on the up and up. You're checking all the different joints. You're looking at the weather seal, like you said, on the bottom, all around. And then, of course, if you have any kind of just Jekyll and Hyde type of weather where maybe it's not time for the seasonal check, but you just had a major storm come through and it dropped the temperature or it raised it, it's worth it for you to avoid, you know, catastrophe, just to give it a once over and just look at it.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel good about it, you know, give us a call.
Yeah, trust your gut on that.
Yeah, I mean, just nobody really, and again, it goes to the education. Nobody really thinks that weather is like that big a deal, you know, especially if you've not had a problem with it in the past. Why would it happen, you know, at all? But that's where we find issues.
That statement always confuses me whenever it's been working for 20 years. Because maybe it's the way that I think about it. It's like, yeah, it's been running for 20 years.
Right.
It's not going to go forever. You got 20 years. That's awesome. It's time.
Yeah.
Like, it's time to do the maintenance. Maybe it's time to look into a new one. The biggest one, and because you've gotten to travel and because, you know, you've been to Texas, is wood doors and what these seasonal checks do with that.
Man, so yes, I've been in Dallas, but I'll tell you this: probably one of the places I've been to that has the most dramatic effect of wood doors that have not been maintained, that have not been treated, whatever, is in Denver.
Denver.
So in Denver, in Colorado, you get wood doors that have also wood stiles. Basically, the bones of the garage door, right, are also wood. And what they do, they have a phrase out there that when they talk about how it's warping, they call it smiling. Because your door is supposed to be a solid rectangle, right?
Yeah, we call the door the smile of your home, but we don't actually want it to look like a smile.
You don't want it to grin at you, right?
Yeah, we don't want that.
So what you have are doors that, when they warp, they start doing this. And so there's absolutely no way to reliably seal it at the bottom. You can't just change the weather stripping. You can't just do that and expect it to last, because this thing is falling apart.
Yeah.
Structural integrity is going. Those types of things, whenever you have a lot of moisture, you have wood. It's not been treated or sealed. It's not higher end. Those are a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the biggest thing, and I try and tell this to clients as well, my biggest gripe with not treating a wood door is I can only do so much. And let's say your spring breaks in the summer, right?
Yeah.
And then I change out the spring and the winter comes and all that moisture gets into that wood. And then you're calling me because, the operator all of a sudden can't pick up the door, but those new springs are on there. Well, springs, weight has a big determining factor on what type of spring you put on a door. Mm-hmm. And when you have a 16, 18, 21 foot wide wood door that's 7, 8, 9 feet tall, and just imagine a quarter inch of moisture absorbed all over that front door. That's 40, 60, 100 pounds that I see doors change throughout the season. And we can keep coming out, but you need to either maintain it or you need to get to a different door, because it's for naught. I could put the best spring in the world possible for the wintertime, and then it's going to damage the door during the summer. And I can put the best spring on that door during the summer. It's the weight on the wood doors that is the biggest gripe.
Yeah, those wood doors are like sponges for they're sponges for moisture. And then really, along with the door, one of the units that is not cheap that ends up suffering the most is your operator.
Yeah.
Because that's not built for abuse.
No.
That's supposed to just guide the door back. Like you said, it's the brains of the operation, right? So as soon as those wood doors start soaking up that moisture, it's a problem.
Yeah, it ruins the operator every single time. Mm-hmm. Now, do lubricants or insulation matter more in certain seasons, you think?
Well, if we're here in Arizona,
yeah,
it matters a lot. It definitely matters a lot. And it really depends on just how extreme the heat is. And I talk a lot about heat because, we're here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So every 12 months, you want to make sure that you have properly lubricated moving parts. Mm. But it's worth it for you to make sure that if you're going through really hot spells or particularly dry spells, wherever you're living, that you're keeping an eye on that. The second you start hearing a squeak, a creak that wasn't there before, your garage door is communicating with you. Mm. I'm not right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's screaming for help.
It's screaming for help. It literally is. And it's amazing what a little maintenance can do for you. So when you talk about, like habits and things like that, like when should we be doing this? You got to listen to your garage. But certainly minimum every 12 months.
Now, with insulation on a door, if we're talking about how extreme heat and cold and kind of those, bipolar weather sections, doesn't it just kind of make sense that an insulated door that's keeping those extremes out would help the parts on the inside, not even the door itself, but the operator itself?
Well, and I'll take that in a different direction too, because when we talk about insulation here in Arizona, we're trying to keep the heat out.
Yeah.
Right? But I was up north, and actually one of the techs made a really good point that a lot of guys think about, like, I'd like to do projects in my garage.
Right.
So I want to put a heater in here. Well, I'd like to keep that heat in and keep the cold out.
Right.
And it's like what we do here, but in reverse.
Yes.
So that insulation really matters.
Yes.
And it also matters because you have most garage doors, most garages are about 400 to 500 square feet. If you're talking about a 16 by 7, not extra room in the back, just a standard garage, right? That's a big room that either is super cold during the winter or is really hot in the summer. And all of that permeates into your house.
Right.
And now you've got your HVAC system fighting it. If you've got, let's say, a freezer or a fridge in the garage, that's fighting it too. You think about how something like insulation can not only make you more comfortable, but also help your monthly expenses.
Right.
So I'm never going to tell somebody that insulation's not going to benefit them in some way.
Right.
That wouldn't be true.
So as far as prep, I mean, we need to check the seal of it. We need to maintain it and lubricate it. We still need to do, especially with our wood doors, like all because it's winter and we don't want to go out there, we still got to do our 3-point balance test, make sure the door's down. We got to call people out there whenever we hear the new weird noises that pop up.
Right.
Is there anything that you feel like you can give to homeowners as kind of the final message to these points?
Build habits.
Build habits.
Build habits of taking care of this so you're not hitting the mouth.
Yeah.
With the extremes that will happen when things are neglected. Most of us understand now, I got to take my car in every so often to get oil, coolant, tires checked. Most of us know we've got to get certain things maintained. Why is a garage door any different? Why is the largest moving appliance in your house that exposes your house the most any different?
It's not.
It's not. It's funny because I have gone to houses to where, take it for what you will, because everybody has their own preference for cars. But
Right.
somebody pulls in this $100,000 machine, Lexus, Mercedes, their brand new truck, and I look up and I'm looking at 200, 300, 400 pounds plus of garage door that, as an expert, I'm looking at it going, there's no way I'm pulling my vehicle in this garage.
Right.
And so the habits of making sure that you're up to par on everything, just like anything else in your home, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get it. People got busy lives. They want to save money here and there. They want to put off that one thing. But, man, maybe a few bucks towards just getting your door checked, a few of these seasonal checks. That sounds way better than having to buy a whole new door whenever it wasn't my option and potentially a whole new car.
Yeah.
Yep, brother. All right, dude, thank you so much. I know that it's a big deal because you're traveling, you're helping techs, you're helping clients all over this great nation of ours, but I really appreciate it when you come on, brother.
Love it. Love it, man. Thank you for having me.